Oi pessoal, no vídeo de hoje estarei trazendo para vocês um evento super interessante, organizado pela Room Number One, que foi fundada por uma brasileira chamada Ludmila Figueiredo, no qual será discutido como abrir um negócio em Dubai. Neste evento, a Ludmila estará mediando uma conversa com dois empreendedores em série, pois já criaram várias empresas, que são o Tahir Shah e a Sylvia Youssef, e eles estarão compartilhando a sua experiência, pois algumas das empresas que eles abriram deram certo e outras não. E justamente eles estarão trazendo toda a importância de se montar um negócio de forma correta e também tirando todas as dúvidas quanto como abrir uma empresa em Dubai.
Olá pessoal, tudo bem? Meu nome é Ludmila Figueiredo, eu sou a fundadora do Rule Number One, ou regra número 1. A ideia é de fomentar oportunidades de negócios entre Brasil e Oriente Médio. A gente faz isso por meio de troca de conhecimento, então a gente faz eventos, tem missões, visitas técnicas em diversos setores, segmentos. A gente também faz business development, ou desenvolvimento de negócios para empresas que queiram vir para Dubai ou para os Emirados Árabes Unidos, e muito focado em marketing e vendas. E também a terceira parte é a parte de acesso ao mercado, que a gente faz isso via acesso a capital, funding e financiamento, e acesso a parceiros estratégicos. O motivo principal é porque, como eu trabalhei com empreendedorismo há 11 anos, eu me sinto muito feliz em aliviar os desafios dos empreendedores, né? É uma jornada muito difícil, uma jornada muito solitária. Então, se a gente pode facilitar, nem que seja um pouquinho, a caminhada do empreendedor para o sucesso, eu já fico muito feliz, e esse é o propósito também do Rule Number One. Quem quiser saber mais sobre as nossas atividades, pode entrar no nosso site, rulenumber1.me, e as nossas redes sociais. A gente tem Facebook, a gente tem Instagram, então eu vejo vocês por lá.
I used to be in a career here in Dubai. I was working with Nokia. One day I thought, you know what, I can't do it forever. I've been working there for 12 years. And I miss my mom's food, and then I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to drop out of my career. I told them I'm leaving. The very first, I started a Pakistani concept called mochi roti. I didn't know anything at all, so the purpose of a gathering like this is to help inform you guys what my story is like, and hopefully give you a guidance as well. I had no knowledge, so I didn't know that you need to have, you really need to have your own restaurant here, or your own kitchen. You can't cook out of your home. You can do that in England.
So based on that, I have a question. At that time, you were working at Nokia in IT, right?
Yeah, in IT.
Okay.
So it was a good salary, but still not enough to start a restaurant. You have to think, honestly, you have to think like hustle. Think, I don't have a restaurant, I don't have a kitchen. How can I've got this amazing recipe from my mom. How can I sell it? So I thought, okay, I just need a place to cook, and I need a place to sell it. Through networking, through a friend, I found one guy who had a restaurant in the airport in Terminal 3. And he says, you know what, you can cook out of my restaurant, and then you give me a share of your profits. Actually, sorry, his chef has to cook. His chef has to cook. I can't be working in the restaurant. So it was a very simple menu. It's not very complicated. So I was able to give the recipes to their restaurant. They would cook it, I would come pick it up. But I needed someone to sell it. Supervisor of the supermarket. I went, can I put a stall here? I have an idea. He goes, where's your trade license? I was like, what? So it's kind of a workaround. It was very messy. I had very little control here. See, someone else is cooking my food, someone else is selling it. So just constant hassling, annoying the guy. The guy got sick of me. He was okay, start. You know, so it took a long time to get that up, but this was like I say, it's a workaround. It's just a way to get started, and it's a way to try your idea. It's a way to start, see if your concept has any value.
This is very similar to the situation of many Brazilian entrepreneurs or Portuguese entrepreneurs as well, because we have a very rich culture and food, let's say. So we see opportunities to bring to the market, but that's exactly how you started as well, right?
Yeah.
So from Pakistan, you had the specific roti and
Yes,
so on
exactly.
and so forth, so then you brought it here.
So, I mean, feasibility would have been really helpful had I done it, but honestly, I was like, I'm a dreamer, so my head's up there. So feasibility or market research would have been really helpful to understand who are the guys who would really go for this. great way to test. It was a great way to start without spending a lot of money. But you don't make money from it. You got one guy eating from your pocket because he's the kitchen. You got a swag or the supermarket taking from you because they take commission from you because you're using their space. But I'm not left with anything. But I didn't spend any investment money. It was a great way to test the market.
Yeah. And the problem is a lot of people are very passionate about their ideas, but a lot of people know how to actually turn it into an actual business. So, and that's where the feasibility comes in. It's really how many sandwiches do I have to sell a month to recover my costs? How much money do I have to last me for a year or two? So most restaurants, if you are going to set up a full-fledged restaurant, most restaurants don't recover their money for 5 years. So do you have enough money?
In this region specifically.
Yeah. So do you have enough money to last you 5 years? So, and again, not every restaurant is the same. Some restaurants may become successful straight away and may catch on. Some others may take some time. So actually do your research beforehand. Sit down and do the numbers. You know, does it make financial sense before I actually put the investment in? Because that's where a lot of people get caught into that cycle, where they do end up spending, but they don't realize how much businesses actually cost. So I think it's quite important for someone to sit down and actually do the numbers.
If you're passionate, the tracking you fall for also is that you overestimate how much revenue you're going to. You're like, if I'm going to do 100 sandwiches this month, next month I'm going to do 2 because they're going to love it, and everyone will be
Because they're going to love it. It's the dangerous part.
Right? And then you realize, bam, in month 3 you're not anywhere close to it.
Yeah. A practice that investors in fact usually do, and I think that it's super applicable. They cut your revenues by half and they double your costs to prevent anything that can happen. Yeah. But to be very realistic, because entrepreneurs are very passionate about what they have, and they're over optimistic. So this is a practice that they use, and maybe that will be helpful also for
and I think the most important part is to have a strong will. Okay, so there's one thing about being passionate, and then there's the other thing about being practical and figuring out, I shouldn't be attached to my business model. I shouldn't be attached to this. You have to be open to change. Because if you're not open to change, then you're going to really, really struggle. You have to hustle. You always have to find an alternative route. Find an alternative way to do something. If your business model isn't working, if it isn't bringing in enough money, try something different. You never know if that will work out better. But unless you try, you're not going to know if it will work. You need that constant motivation. You need the motivation every single day. Because running a business, you can get a little bit dried out and weary and unmotivated, no matter how passionate you are. Because there's only so much knockdowns you can get, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh. So you need to be around the same type of people so they can help support you and you can support them.
But for the food truck, it was exciting because it was new. You were amongst it was new for the people of Dubai, but it was incredible because everything's new. It's incredibly difficult to. Like approvals are new for the RTA, approvals are new for the Dubai municipality, approvals are new for civil defense. By the way, I don't blame or I don't have any bitterness towards the little departments and bureaus because it's a young country. So if everything's new and it's not like in England or the state where all the departments are integrated or the system is there from decades and decades and decades. Yeah, everything's new. You change something in civil defense, the RTA guy doesn't know. And you get bounced to this department and that department.
Licensing is a small part of the business. It's only like the first step. But there's so many other costs that are involved. Sometimes people will come to you and say, listen, I have 50,000 dirhams, I want to set up a company. I'll tell you straight after. I have 150,000 dirhams to set up a company. Don't. Because the cost of running a business, you've got to figure out how much runway you have. Food industry is quite expensive to set up. It's different to if you're setting up a consulting company or if you're setting up, let's say, another type of service-based company. Food is different because you actually have to buy the products. You've got employees that you have to pay. You have visas. You have different permissions that you have to pay for. So that's why I always go back to the feasibility. Sometimes you have to take calculated risks. Everyone has to take risks at some stage. Make sure that they're calculated. So if you say, okay, I'm going to quit my job and take a chance, I've only got 30,000 dirhams in the bank account. No, that's not risk. That's not thinking. If you calculate them, then you can go ahead and do it. But the most important thing is that you have to be prepared for the pressure and the stress and for things to go wrong. and for the thought of, okay, if I run out of money, what am I going to do? Investment, getting investment is not easy. So you see so many startups come to you and say, oh, but I'm going to get investment. I'm like, have you already got an investor? No, I'm looking for investors. It's not easy. Everyone has a stream of, I'm going to find myself an investor.
People take time to see how you're doing. So they have the money, they are not in a hurry,
Yes.
right? But you're having cash constraints.
Yeah.
You're going to run out of money and you're desperate. And that's the worst
situation.
situation to be. You don't want to raise money when you're desperate. So it's better for you to adjust the model that you have in the beginning. Keep always the cushion of your cash flows, and it's a full-time job to raise funds, and you start when you don't need it. Because when you wait when you need it, it's already too late.
Okay, so there's two parts. So let's say, for example, you have an industrial license or a trading license in one of the other Emirates. You'll need to have a local distributor to distribute your products here. Okay, so they're the ones who will have to distribute on your behalf. You cannot distribute it. Okay.
To make a business with
Yeah, a relationship with them, and then they'll have to distribute your goods on your behalf. So this is where it falls. But what many people don't understand is that the free zones are specific to an industry. So for example, Dubai Media City is related to the media industry. Okay, and then you've got something like RAC Free Trade Zone, it's related to trade. So every single free zone is related to a specific industry. So whenever you're getting a license, you have to figure out what industry am I in and make sure that you're licensed through them, because their regulations will support what you're looking at doing.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's that much in it from cost-wise, whether you went 100% own your own business and it's free zone, or you go 51% and partner in LLC. People are afraid that, oh, someone is holding majority share, but you have these memorandums where they only take a certain percentage of your, or you give them a certain fee every year to the Emirati sponsor, but the profit is yours.
With restaurants, always have it as an LLC, as in the sponsor. If you don't, then you're open to the full liability of your personal assets, which is not recommended. So always have it as a limited liability company, because you're limiting it. Because you're attached to food, if anything happens, again, sometimes you're not there, you don't have control, you don't want to be liable. So as a rule of thumb, always keep it as an LLC, because there's a risk attached to it, and you don't want to be held liable.
What are the rule number 1, 2, 3 that you may have for business? Because that's the name of the company, right? And that's becoming more as a platform. But rule number 1, the reason why we started is because being an entrepreneur or innovating in the market is breaking rules. Everyone, yeah, let's break the rules. But nobody knows that you have to have a lot of rules in place to break others. And you have to have alignment, discipline, process. So that's the joke with the name. Every great leader has the rule number 1 for business.
I can give you like a top something.
Yeah.
Grit or determination or gumption, the character. I think if you're someone who can go handle very well the pressures, the ups and downs, if that's the thing that drives you, and you're fine that it does well, it doesn't do well, you just want to do it, you want to be in the act of doing it. I think it's really, really key driver. I think a couple of other perhaps wisdom I can impart is people, like your team. I made mistakes. I hired very quickly. I thought maybe I'm running out of money. I'm under pressure. I hired very quickly, and then I see that's not the right person. That's not the right staff.
Well, my rule number 1: don't get into business unless you're prepared to hustle. Full stop. Second thing is make sure that you do take calculated risks. That's very, very important. And not to take things to heart in business.
Yeah.
Don't take things to heart, because you're so attached to your idea. Sometimes you have to let go, and if things aren't going the way that it's meant to, it's nothing personal. It's just the way that business is. You could be at a high at 8 o'clock in the morning because you've got an amazing email or things are going so well. By 12 o'clock, you can get knocked back down. By 4 o'clock, things could be great again. You just never know. So you can't take things to heart.